Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to build a worm tower out of a piece of PVC pipe. We're going to put this in the garden and then it's going to turn your fruit and veggie scraps into plant find. You can use anything really. I've brought along today, so I've got the PVC pipe, but I've also brought along this old olive container. The main thing that you're going to need for your piece of pipe, this is the one we're going to be making today, is a secure lid. I've chosen PVC pipe because I had some lying around at my place. I've cut it to about 50 centimeters long, and we're going to put these screw cap couplings on, so they'll just glue over the top like so, and I'll show you how to do that. So with this PVC pipe, I'm going to drill some holes in it that are going to be below the level of the soil. This is just going to allow water to go in and out of the pipe better, and also the worms. With this olive container that I showed you just a second ago, it doesn't have a hole in the bottom like the pipe does. It's just got a solid bottom. So I'm going to drill holes in the side as well as in the bottom. Now that I've drilled the holes in my container, I'm going to stick the screw cap lid on. When I stick it on, I want to take this part off. Normally when you put the glue inside, this part of the coupling, some of it might run down into where the cap is. And if that happens, your cap's going to be stuck on and it won't come off. So we just open the bottle. It's got a little brush in it. You can buy all these materials from Bunnings or another hardware store. But I chose to use some stuff that was just lying around. The reason why it's really important that we recycle our food scraps back into the environment is because if they go to landfill, they create a lot of methane, and methane is a really bad greenhouse gas that we want to avoid putting into the atmosphere. So I've put the lid back on, and now once this is screwed on, you can put the cap on, and we're nearly ready to put it in the garden. So I've already dug the hole. Now we're going to put the worm tower into the hole. Make sure that it's at least halfway buried, whatever the size your container is that you're using. This is so that the worms can stay cool. They're deep enough in the ground that they can stay cool. It's also so that it doesn't blow over or anything once it's full of fruit and vegetable scraps. So we're just going to put it into the hole like so. Get it so that the writing's facing the way I want, and fill the hole in around it. I've bought some worms along today from home, from my worm farm. You only need a couple of handfuls. You can see that the food that I've put in there isn't too broken down yet, but that's okay. It's a little bit smelly, but it won't matter because the worms will fix that right up once they get into their new home. So we're just going to put the worms literally with the stuff that they're in, the half broken down stuff, into the worm tower. There is a difference between composting worms and your normal earthworms, so it's a good idea that you do put composting worms into your worm tower. The worms are going to live in the garden bed. These raised garden beds are wicking beds, so that will mean that they will have plenty of water most of the time, but you just got to every now and again give a little water just to make sure it's nice and wet in there and all the breakdown of the veggie scraps is going into the garden. So it's best just to put fruit and vegetable scraps into your worm tower, just like your worm farm. Not too much onion or garlic or citrus peel, and also don't put bread or meat in there. It doesn't break down very well just with worms. It needs more composting before it can go into the worm tower. So that's how to build a worm tower. This one's just a little old container that I had, but it's going to do the job. We might check back in later and see how the worms are going. You can also have a look on the Hume City Council website. On there there's a how-to guide for building a worm tower.